This playthrough is rated M for mature.
Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with another episode of, A Wonderful World. I don't know why I forgot the name of the game there for a second. That happens to me every once in a while. My brain darn messed up. The last episode, we helped Li Wen and meet the teacher and help him out, as well as getting Jimmy to learn how to play tennis better to get together with that girl. And we didn't know what to do next because the mail hadn't popped in to postmail and tell us what to do next. So I was messing with the only thing I didn't have an S rank in, and this happened when I was just kind of messing around, even though there's only so many things I could do, but this occurred, so maybe this will give us our next step. Huh? A piece went missing. Sometimes this will happen. In this letter, because the gun went off in the story on the right side, the store owner was killed. As a result, neither the owner nor cars will be able to carry out the remaining actions. And so the white pieces disappeared. Usually a piece will disappear when the subject of the action described in the piece is no longer active. This is not only confined to the sender of the letter, it could also be because of someone mentioned in that letter. Again, it depends. The important thing is to think about what they might be that might disappear. I see. Is that pretty much it? Okay, now I just have to figure out what to do next. Okay, so let me reset this one back to... Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. I was messing with it. I was like, huh, why did that one just disappear all of a sudden? And then I was like, oh, okay. Whoops. What were the two? And there's no way. Unfortunately, as far as I know, there's no way to get... because I think I had to hand it... I took it... Maybe if we get A on both of those, maybe that'll... please, the gun went off. I am... Please. Please... The gun went off. Oh no, that wasn't what I was trying. I thought I was trying to do. What was the S one in this again? Oh, I had to take the gun one off too, but I need the gun one off to do his. So, all right, I guess I'll keep messing around because, yeah, there's no letters, no messages, or anything like that. And I know you can keep playing, but I'm not sure what you're supposed to do, though. Yeah, but, well, basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of mess around for a bit, and then if something else pops up, I'll add it back in. I just wanted to show that specific scene right there. But I'll be right back if I can figure out how to get the post up here, hopefully. Okay, that just took me... Apparently there is a way to get an S rank. I was messing around with it. I guess I just didn't do every single version of the thing to get S rank. So apparently just moving the please around did it. Okay, whatever. I assume now I'm going to have a post now. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. I don't know why I couldn't figure that out. I thought I'd done everything I could. Sorry. That's all I can say is just like, whoops. Alright, anyway, let's get back to it. Piece of rope and the lives and group loyalty, huh? Oh, looks like we got a new character. Oh boy, this sounds awesome. A piece of rope, huh? Piece of candy. Piece of candy. Piece of candy. I could just do a really deep voice for him, except that really hurts my throat when I do that. My name is Park Sang-gun. I'm 12 years old. I live in Korea. My home was on a hill. Oh no, I'm doing my southern voice now. Yeah. There were a lot of similar old houses on that hill, and the one that was the highest was my home. There were good and bad things about living here. The good thing was, since our house was so high up, we got to be further away from their other houses, so we had a big yard. However, I had to climb the stairs for over half an hour every day, just to go and buy my dad a bottle of vodka at the convenience store at the bottom of the hill. If I didn't go, my dad would get angry. It's like he puts a cube of ice in his glass every day, and then he gets mad. He would beat me with his belt. It wasn't just me either. He would also hit my mom, too. I never understood why he would do that. I just wish that he could figure out maybe mom wouldn't have to be beaten anymore. Now, it looks like we got an abusive home and a civil dispute and all that other fun stuff. Dad was a road construction and maintenance worker. He used to come back home with mud all over his clothes. But for the past 2 months, he always came home clean. That's interesting. Sometimes he'd bring back some money and give it to Mom. Other times, though, he'd take some money out of the pot where he kept our food money. Mom always worked very hard. She had to wash a lot of clothes and sheets during the day for other people. She said she was getting paid for washing them. I really wanted to help Mom, but I was too short. I couldn't even reach the pole where she hung the clothes and sheets to dry. Alex came by today. He lived on the hill too. Alex was Russian, just like Mom. They both had blonde hair and blue eyes, just like me. The other kids who lived nearby didn't like me at all. They always said that I looked weird. Only Sue Mi from the bakery would play with me. She had once told me that she wanted to open a cake shop together with me, but I didn't like cake. Dude, the girls liking you and hanging out with you, take the shot. There was an ant nest in our yard. I was watching the ants carrying things into their nest. I bet they must have been have a very big home. Suddenly it started raining. A large raindrop almost blocked the entrance to the nest. I went back inside to get an umbrella, then came back and covered the nest. Mom and Alex were taking the sheets back inside. Then Dad came home. He was Korean. Oh, that's a bad sign. No, just kidding. He had black hair and brown eyes. He was back earlier than usual today. He saw Alex there and kicked the umbrella away. Alex left. Mom went into the house with Dad. I followed them inside as well. You slutty bitch. Dad slapped Mom in the face and pushed her onto the floor. He took a rope out from the cabinet. The rope was wrapped around her neck and choked her. What the fuck, dude? 5 minutes later, I grabbed onto Dad's arm with my whole body, but I couldn't stop him. He was too strong for me. Dad kicked me in the stomach and shoved me off of him. I fell and crashed into the corner of the room. Bastard! Okay. Bastard. Dad called me that word a lot. I used to ask Mom what it meant. She told me that just meant bad child. Dad finally let go. Mom collapsed on the floor, but she didn't get back up, as if she had fallen asleep. Put her in a sleeper hold, or choked her to death. I tried to shake her awake. I tried as hard as I could, and shout as loud as I could. She would not wake up. I heard the door open behind me. I turned around. Dad had to run out. I didn't know where he was going. He probably ran off because he killed her by accident. I held onto Mom's arm and cried. Why? I had always been a good child. God, please help Mom wake up. I promise I will be an even better child. I'll promise I will never be a bastard ever again. Park Sang-gun. Jeez, that Dad came out drunk and fucking choked his wife to death. Jesus Christ. Well, after a certain point, I kind of had a bad feeling about what was going on with the story, because we already have, at this point, we have a guy who tries to commit suicide. We had a guy who has domestic abuse. We have human trafficking, and then we have like drug dealers and stuff like that. What happiness could happen next? I have been a member of the Black Dragon Gang for 2 months, but there's still yet to officially meet Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee was to the command in the Black Dragon Gang. We met once on the day of the fire at the Pitt Street 99. He was also the one who introduced me into the gang. I thought I would be able to get some information about my sister once I joined the gang, but soon I found out that everyone in my group, including our leader, Mr. Kwan, knew nothing about her. As for Mr. Lee himself, he rarely came to number 99 in person. Still, there was some upsides from joining the gang. At least I don't have to worry about room and board anymore. My Cantonese was also improving a lot. Besides, not everyone in the gang was as scary as the one would expect of a gang member. Ren was one of the nice guys. I belonged to a group loyalty team. The group oversaw the loan business, so we were essentially the loan sharks in the gang. He came here to save his sister and ends up becoming a gang member. Now that I became a member, I could just coast along without doing anything, but I also didn't want to do wrong things. I had told Ren about my predicament during one of our conversations. Ren then told Mr. Kwan that he wanted to bring me along when he went debt collecting. Every time we went, Ren would whisk the kids off the families away first. Then I would tear apart their old clothes, spill some chicken blood on them, and mail the clothes to the debtors. Once we were sure that the debtors received the bloody clothes, Ren would then make a phone call. Hey, you got the package, alright? I'm giving you 3 days. If you don't have money, you'll be getting more than just clothes next time. He sounded like Uncle Wing, the big butcher at the street corner, with a violent attitude. The afro on his head would bounce 3 times with his afro bounced 3 times that day, with him every time he yelled at his customers. As soon as he put down the phone, he would immediately turn into a preschool teacher and go play with the hostages who were wearing the new clothes we had just bought them. Ren would get scolded by Mr. Kwan every once in a while. He said Hong Kong was too small of a place. If everyone learned how group loyalty handled this business, it'd become much more and more difficult to get the money. But Ren never took it seriously. I think my voice is changing slowly to my Russian accent by accident, even though I'm trying to do my more Ren knew that I'd come to Hong Kong to find my sister. Even though he couldn't help much, he could always allow me to go out and look for her whenever there weren't any assignments. Every time Mr. Kwan asked me about me, he would always go. Just like today, I'd been asking around the whole morning, but still got nothing. You know, I almost want to put on my Jewish accent here, just because of the music. I don't know why. I'm just feeling, you know. And when I got back to route number 99, no, just kidding. When I got back to 99, everyone in the group seemed to have strange smirk on their faces. Ren said they were going to go and get a massage, and they'd been waiting for me to come back and they could put me on my watch duty. Massage. While on paper, sex work is technically prohibited in Hong Kong, it is nevertheless flourished on the island. Monk Cock, that can't be how it's pronounced. Mong Kok. Alright. Prince Edward and Wau Mai Te are well-known red light districts in Hong Kong. In particular, Portland Street, which is located between Mong Kok and Prince Edward, is the most infamous one. It looks like a normal street during the day, but turns into a different erotic site during the night. Storefronts with signs for massages, foot spa, night spa are sprinkled among residential buildings, providing all kinds of services for customers. There are girls from all over the world, available at such as those from Taiwan, mainland China, Hong Kong, Russia, Japan. Furthermore, one could even choose based on preferences, including black stockings, model, flight attendant, and more. Ooh, with costs in the range of 300 to 800 Hong Kong dollars. On the other hand, when the locals want a real legitimate massage, they would typically choose to go to Shenzhen, as it is far more economical there. So you can actually get legitimate massages. I laugh knowingly. Help yourself on the beer on the table. Help yourself to the beer on the table. I paid for this. We're off. Oh, and I almost forgot. There's someone in the room who Mr. Kwan had told us to keep an eye on. Don't let her get away. Then they left. A girl was tied to the chair in the corner of the room. Although there was a cloth stuffed in her mouth, she seemed still seemed very pretty. Really, is that the time to really talk about how pretty she is when she's like a hostage or whatever it is? She looked Asian, but she had dark skin like mine. Probably what do they call that in Japan? Gaiju or something like that? Or is that offensive to say that though? I don't know. So never mind. I'm gonna shut my mouth. She looked her eyes were thin, curled up like a pair of new moons. Her shining black hair draped from her head like a dark waterfall, and she was wearing a purple short skirt. It looked like the skirt had been torn on its side. Well, Mr. Kwan wanted her watched, then I should just watch her, no need to think too much about it. I slapped my cheeks to keep myself alert. I raised the bottle, then a rope snapped. I was reading the label on Ren's beers when I heard the sound of a rope snapping. Before I could turn, I felt a hand strike at the back of my neck. Did she just cry at me? I blacked out. I didn't know how long I'd passed. A bucket of cold water was thrown in my face. I woke up with a shudder and opened my eyes. I saw Mr. Kwan standing right in front of me. Everybody was back in the room. They had all terrible looks on their faces. I looked at the corner again. The chair was still there, and there were two halves of a rope on the floor. The girl was gone. Oh crap, I had made a terrible mistake. Ren tossed a knife over to me and looked away. I had not been in the group for long, but I knew the rules. If I wanted to stay, I had to do this. I was going to chop off his finger. I bit my lip and cut off my left pinky finger. I didn't know they did that in Japan, or China too, because the Yakuza do that as well. I didn't know Japanese gang or Chinese gangs did that too. Maybe they're a triad or something like that. Half of my bloody finger dropped to the floor. Blood was still gushing out. It hurt like hell, but I was a man. I didn't make a sound. Who on earth was that girl? If only I had been more alert. Why did he cut off his own pinky finger? It's ritual in the Mafia in some gangs. If you make a mistake, you must cut off your own pinky finger. Some gangs might even make their new members cut it off before officially joining. What? That's so scary. Yeah, it is. And Carlos. Yeah, man. Don't know what to tell you, dude. Alright, let's see what we can do for these poor individuals. One getting his finger cut off, and the other one getting his mom choked out. Although I don't know if you can really save the mom. Sounds like something that... I don't know, maybe we'll try and see, I guess. Alright, let's look at our... Let's just set up as is. What's our history on that? Okay, so we got the standard one there. Okay. Alright, let's do that again. Let's see what we can do. Let's get those bad ones out of the way first. Let's see. Probably better just to put all of them on one side, wouldn't it be? Just to save it. Do that one first. That'll probably get, you know, just putting them all on one side will definitely get a bad ending first. He must have dead. I climbed onto the table and smashed the vodka bottle into his head. He suddenly stopped and fell to the ground on his back. Something dark and red was coming out of Dad's head and onto the floor. Oh, this little kid just had to murder his dad. I carefully climbed up the table and ran into her arms, just like I always did. Every time Dad lost his temper, we would huddle together like this. It was the only way we could make ourselves feel better. But this time, Mom seemed to have fallen asleep. I tried to shake her awake. I tried as hard as I could and shouted as loud as I could. She would not wake up. I cried. Mr. Kwan had come back. He pulled up a chair in front of the girl and sat down. He began asking her questions. The others had come back from the massage as well. We were all standing next to the wall. No one dared make a sound. From Mr. Kwan's questions, I learned that the girl's name was Yi. Mr. Kwan had only met her recently. Mr. Kwan had even bought her an apartment. Mr. Kwan was a tough man, but he'd always been very gentle to women, and he never slept around either. Therefore, he couldn't tolerate being betrayed by his woman. A few days ago, he found out that Yi had been hanging out with people from the Blood Gang. He began to suspect that she had been approached him with other intentions. He decided to find out the truth. Mr. Kwan dumped a bucket of water on her head. The air conditioning had been set to max power, and at 16 degrees Celsius, it was blowing directly at her. Every time she would not answer a question, he would cut off some of her hair or slap her in the face. He was quite tough, though. Her mouth had started bleeding. Almost all of her hair had been cut off, and she still hadn't spoken once. Mr. Kwan was together. Tougher. He sent Ren to fetch him a bottle of white flower oil. What does that do? He twisted off the cap, forced Yi's eyes open, and was about... Oh, it's probably acidic, or at least would burn her eyes or something like that. He was about to drop to the eyes. Yi was shaking uncontrollably. The tears were welling out of her eyes. She was finally broken. Mr. Kwan was right about everything. Yi was just not a member of the Blood Game. She was also the niece of their big boss. The big boss man, Mr. Chang. But that wasn't what had angered Mr. Kwan the most. He hadn't seduced him. Yi hadn't seduced him to infiltrate group loyalty for our loan business. She was only trying to get close to the groups of the Black Dragon Gang. She'd only chosen Kwan because he was single, and therefore an easier and more convenient target for him. The Blood Gang never cared about the loan business at all. Mr. Kwan was outraged, feeling incredibly insulted. Close! Take care of this bitch. Never let me see her again. Let me guess that's his rank S? Well, maybe it's to, he'll take care of her, quote unquote. Okay, so that's his bad. So we got the S rank for him, but we got the bad name for him. So let's maybe the rope snapping will get him his that bad ending too at the same time. So we already got his. So we already know how to get his S ending. Just have all the stuff on one side, or at least relatively. I heard the sound of a rope snapping. I turned around and saw the girl shaking off the rope. I turned around, the sound of the rope snapping. I turned around and saw the girl shake off the rope. Mr. Kwan would kill me if he let her get away. I grabbed her arm as she was trying to get up from the chair. You can't! Before I could finish, she kicked me in the crotch. I felt a boom in my head. She was so tough, even tougher than my sister. She knocked me out in just a few hits, then she tried me to the chair like a Zongzi. I can't get my my accent to, Zongzi was one of my favorite Chinese desserts. She spent a long time tying me up. But she opened up the door. She happened to bump into Mr. Kwan, who had just come back. Mr. Kwan looked over her head and saw a tied-up Zongzi. Bondage play? Bondage play? Could he even handle the girl? You useless piece of shit. As a reward, Mr. Kwan punched me in the face. I could see many Mexican flags flying around my head. Away! Okay, anyway. That was just the same. So it's just the same bad end for... Oh wait, that's his A ending? Oh, okay. That's funny. Okay. So, I'm just conveniently getting the best endings from one bottle. Okay, so anyway. Let's see. Let's move some stuff around now. Okay, let's see. This will only get him his one. I'm trying to... Because I seem to have gotten most of the endings for Carlos already, so... Month 3 turned red, and then blue. The rope in my hands was choking her tighter and tighter. I could see the old bruises all over Mom's bloody. I couldn't stand this anymore. I couldn't stand to watch Mom suffer like this anymore. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, but my brain was completely empty. I didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to scream my heart out. Dad's face changed into a shocked expression. He stumbled back.
Then he stepped on the bottle on the floor and fell over backwards. Mom finally stopped struggling. She fell into my arms with a smile on her face. She was so still.
Basically in this ending, did we just basically kill ourselves to get rid of her misery? That's fucked up.
I dropped my head and slipped. My mom closed her eyes and wiped the tears off her face. Mom, I'm so happy. I heard the door open behind me. I turned around and Dad had run out. I don't know where he was going.
Okay, so we got that one. Okay, so what's our history currently? Now, we still need to get a couple of bad endings for Carlos there. Okay. Let's try this again. See what we got. Okay. Let's start moving this in different directions now, so we can get some different reactions there. That should give us something.
Mom's face turned red and then blue.
The rope in my hands was choking her tighter and tighter.
I could see the little bruises all over Mom's body. I couldn't stand this anymore.
Okay, so that's repeating. I don't know. Just screen. Change the shot to stumble back. Stop back, that was doing such a thing.
The doorbell rang. I came back to my senses and dropped my hands. Mom was gasping for hair. She looked at me with a look I'd never seen before.
Well, we did just try to kill her.
What had I done? Just done? Why am I here? Who am I? Is this real life? I let out a scream and ran out the door. I could never come back to this house ever again.
That's your B ending? Dude. Okay. That's kind of messed up when you think about it. Okay. Chapter. Let's see. Whoops. Alright. I don't know if this is going to get me anything from. That seems reasonable. Alright.
The rope fell into Dad's hands. He was about to pick it up when the doorbell rang. Dad then went into the yard. It sounded like Alex had brought some people over to intervene.
Yeah, good kid, smart kid.
He had once tried to do it by himself, but he was beaten badly by Dad and kicked out. He never dared to come back on his own since. When Dad returned to the door, he seemed to have forgotten about what was going on. He just gave me a kick when he walked past me and went straight to bed.
What? Like, what in your mind caused you to just straight up just go choke your wife all of a sudden with a rope? I mean, what the... I don't even want to think, like, what causes someone to do crap like that.
Mom sat on the ground and cried. I climbed over in her arms just like I always did. Every time Dad lost his temper, we would huddle together like this. It was only the way we could make ourselves feel better.
You were lucky enough to get through it this time. But what about next time? How long do we have to keep living like this?
I hated to be so scared all the time. I wished I never had a dad like him.
You too. Me too, buddy. Me too. Wait, that says a bad end, but it wasn't actually a bad end. Maybe it's the order it needs to be in or something like that. Like, if we, like... Does that do... No, that doesn't do anything. Nope. I'm just seeing if this gets me any endings or whatnot. Okay. Well, that's not working, so... Alright. Okay, so we need to get his... At least we need to get his ending, or his best ending at least. There we go. Maybe that'll get us something. Because we need to get Carlos's endings. I seem to not be getting lucky on those.
Mr. Juan came back. He looked inside the room and a grim expression came over his face.
You are dead now, Carlos. I keep changing this guy's Mr. Kwan's voice, don't I?
I quickly turned around. Oh my lord! Earlier this girl seemed to be having a seizure. Her entire body was shaking and she kept hitting the wall with her head. I was afraid that she'd hurt herself too much, so I just adjusted the rope to her.
But I didn't realize the rope became tighter and tighter while she was struggling, that she couldn't even breathe. Now she was dead.
Oh Lord, what have I done? I dropped down to my knees. I couldn't stop shaking. A bullet flew out of Mr. Kwan's gun. It was flying towards me and I could see it getting closer and closer. I must stop dead. I climbed onto the table and smashed the vodka bottle into his head. He suddenly stopped and fell to the ground on his back. Something dark and red was coming out of Dad's head and onto the floor. Mom sat back, her face pale like a piece of paper. She coughed violently for a while and cried. Carefully, I climbed off the table and ran into her arms, just like I always did. Every time Dad lost his temper, we'd huddle together like this. It was only one way of making ourselves feel better. I didn't know what Dad would do to us when he woke up. I wish I never had a dad like him.
Park's A Blood story is so sad. Why is his father so cruel?
Why would someone kill his own wife? You know, the world has many questions that we'll never know the answer to. Thank gosh we could help him. Who knows? Maybe his father is mentally ill. Humans are easily stressed. Some people would ease their stress by exercising, overeating, or smashing things. Some people, however, became twisted. He was so young. Oh, he hadn't had a father like this. If he never had his father, he would not have existed. You were right. Does that mean I had a father too? Do gods have fathers? You are a god. Of course not. Don't overthink it. Go back to work. Don't think about these philosophical quandaries. Okay, so that got his bad ending. So what am I missing? I'm missing 2 Carlos's bad endings. So let's see. Did I already do the one where I just put everything on his side? Let's see what that gets us. Okay, that just gets us bad. Okay. I'm trying to think what order I could put this into to get that, to get his bad endings. Let me think for a second. It'll come to me. It'll come immediately. No, I don't. Okay, so if let me look at the history again. Okay, that's... okay, let's try... Let me try... I think I did the other way around before. So, maybe that's enough? Let's see. Okay, that was enough to do something. I think I just switched it around, so... I had just sat down when Mr. Kwan came back. He looked inside the room and a grim expression over his face. This is how you watch someone? Or... This is how you watch someone. I quickly turned around. Oh, my lord! Earlier, this girl had seemed to have a seizure. Her entire body was shaking. She kept hitting the wall with her head. I was afraid that she'd hurt herself too much, so I adjusted the rope on her. But I didn't realize the rope became tight. Okay, this is repeating itself. He just said earlier this is how you watch him instead of, whatever. Thank God Mr. Kwan came back earlier and noticed that. Otherwise, I would have made an unforgivable mistake. Ren tossed a knife over to me and looked away. Okay, so now we're going to cut her finger off. And we'll still gushing out. Early up, I was a man. Are you, man? Really? Yeah. Who else is the girl? Yeah, basically, yeah. Okay. So we got this final one. So, okay, let me think. Well, I mean, we'll figure it out. We shall figure it out soon. Oh, well, actually, yeah, if we just have it snap, then that should get that. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Cool. The girl seemed to be having a seizure. Her entire body was shaking, and she kept hitting the walls with her head. Mr. Kwan would kill me if she hurt herself too much. I tried adjusting the rope on her, hoping to pin her to the back of the chair. But she suddenly started struggling with all her might, and the rope snapped. I grabbed her arm, and she was trying to get up from the chair. You can't! Before I could finish, she kicked me in the crotch and left a boom in my head. She was so tough, even tougher than my sister. She knocked me out a few hits, then tried me up to the chair with a song guy. Okay, this is recent. This is similar, just slightly different though. So she was pretending to have it. So in one version, she's pretending to have the seizure, and other times she is because of word changes. Saul taught at me, bondage play, couldn't even handle a girl. She was a piece of shit. Punched me in the face. Okay. Yeah, it was always slightly different too, for the most part. So is that one where I need to... Okay, so I still need to get the S rank for both of those. So let me look at the S rank on both of those and see what we get. Okay, so this one is... Alright, that one's like not like he didn't have anything on him, and basically... Okay. Basically I just had to put... I think it's just a case of putting them... I just had to put these first, and then it doesn't matter, like, the rest of these. B? Wait. Hold on, what? Well, but it shouldn't matter what order they're in, right? Maybe doing this? No? There's gotta be a way to get S on both of those. Because if I do the choker, it's just gonna give a bad ending to him. Yeah, see. Maybe
Maybe do this? No. Why is that order? That order really changes things, doesn't it? There we go. Okay. It was just the way the order worked. Okay. As long as it gives me S, it doesn't really matter, so. Alright, well, we've opened the post, and we get a few new... Ooh. Meow. What? What? Oh, yeah, there was like a thing about a cat in there, so... It looks like on the next episode, A Wonderful World, we'll follow the letters of a cat and the detective, because that makes sense. Well, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.